Welcome back to the One Decision Away podcast. I'm your host, Elijah Mang. In this one, we're going to be talking about relationships. Why you have unhealthy relationships, why you may continually attract toxicity in your relationships or just unhealthy relationships altogether. And so to jump right into this one, I want to start this on the premise that everything is relationships. And so this understanding is key in improving your relationships, because when you understand that everything is just relationships, because we live in a world of duality, of relativity, one thing only exists in relation to another. Love only exists in relation to fear or hate or whatever. And up only exists in relation to down. Right? We live in this world of relativity. Everything is, it has its definition based on another thing. And so you're constantly defining yourself and clarifying who you are based on the experiences, the relationships that you experience in your life. Now, this doesn't have to just be with people. Like I said, everything is relationships. It's also your relationship to money, but even deeper, it's actually your relationship to your thoughts about money. It's your relationship to your thoughts about that person. It's your relationship to your thoughts about them and who you are creating them to be and perceiving them to be in your own mind, in your own consciousness, right? So another core premise of this episode is that it all makes sense. It all makes sense. Like the experiences that you have make sense given the input that you're putting in. Now, this will probably make more sense as we continue to go in this episode. I do want to make this one a fairly quick one. Quick and easy to consume and understand. So, to get right into it. In this world of duality, why do we attract these unhealthy relationships? Well, there's many factors. Like I've said before in other episodes, your relationships with many things in your life are set by the time you reach 7 years old. So like your relationship with money and how your relationship with money is going to unfold in the rest of your life, if you don't do anything to change it, is already set by the time you're 7. You have those programs installed, downloaded into your mind, into your subconscious, into your nervous system. It's literally the operating system of your life. It just downloads into your body, into your mind, into your nervous system. And then you are programmed to get exactly that in your life. You're programmed to get exactly that kind of relationship. And so whether you saw your parents in unhealthy relationships, or they had an unhealthy relationship, or, maybe your parents were single and they were, going from relationship to relationship and there was a lot of unhealthy stuff that you picked up, you're gonna adopt some of those programs, most likely. And when it comes to relationship with money, it's the same thing. If you saw your parents constantly struggling with money, there was a lot of stress around money, you felt like money was one of the big causes to all of the problems in your life, then chances are you're going to take on that same kind of role and relationship with money as you get older. And these things just, most people are unaware of this. Most people don't do anything to change this stuff. Most people don't even read a book after high school, which is crazy. And so that a lot of people are not actually putting the work into changing these things. They're just carrying out the programs, living the rest of their life on these programs, and then sharing these programs with their kids. And this is how negative programs continue to get carried on. This is how generational trauma and curses happen and are created and continue, without somebody breaking the cycle. And so you watching this video right here, right now, you are here to break the cycle. And you're watching this because, you may have something that you need to disrupt when it comes to your relationship patterns. And so this is it. So, everything, like I said, it all makes sense. Everything is just a reflection of yourself. And so if you adopted all of these programs and attractions now these are unconscious attractions. I'm not talking like physical attractions, but attractions to these unhealthy behaviors in your relationships today, because those unhealthy relationships were familiar and they felt normal in your nervous system, in your mind when you were younger, when you saw that going on. It's what you perceived as normal. Now you're going to carry that forward with you. And so the key to understanding what you're creating, the unhealthy relationships that you're attracting, why you're attracting them, why you keep running into this toxicity. And when I'm saying relationships throughout this whole episode, I'm not just talking relationships with people. It could be, with a significant other. It could also be your relationship with yourself, your concept of yourself. How do you view yourself? Do you love yourself or do you hate yourself? Are you motivated by hatred of yourself in everything that you do? Are you going to the gym? Are you trying to eat healthier and be healthier because you hate where you are now? You hate yourself? Or is it because you love yourself? And because you want to prolong your life and you want to live in a healthy way that allows you to be free in your body and be the fullest expression of freedom within yourself that you can be in this lifetime. So to bring it back, it touches literally every single topic that you could think of in life, because every single topic in your life has two sides to it. It's like two sides of the same coin. Like if you're looking at the topic of money, for example, since I already brought that up, you have, money, but then on one side you have scarcity around money. On the other side, you have abundance of money. It just depends on what you're aligned with. When it comes to your relationship with a significant other, you have a loving and healthy communicative relationship. And then on the other side, you have a toxic, unhealthy, maybe emotionally or even physically abusive relationship. Right? So there's two sides of the same of the same coin, essentially. This is what the duality is. So when I say that it all makes sense, it's because you may be aligned with that side of the coin that is the unhealthiness. And it's not necessarily your fault, right? If you already adopted these programs by the time you were 7 years old, that's just what you took on. It's not your fault that you got there, but it's your responsibility now to change that. It's your responsibility to heal the things in yourself that are attracted to that unhealthiness, to those unhealthy relationships. You simply haven't experienced what a great relationship is yet. You haven't experienced what a purely loving relationship is, a supportive relationship, a healthy relationship. You haven't experienced it. And so but you also just don't have a level of attraction to it within yourself, because it isn't going to fill a certain void that you are seeking to get filled. And, typically those voids come from our relationships with our parents, or what we observed, as I have already mentioned. And so it all makes sense. What you're getting, what you're seeing, and what the results are in your life, they all make sense given what you are putting out. So if you look at the output, what is displayed on the screen of life that you're experiencing, your input is creating that. Now, I don't mean to say if you're a victim of, terrible behavior and things like that, I'm not blaming you. Like I said, it's not your fault, but it is now your responsibility to do better, to see it. This is what self-awareness is all about. And this is why self-awareness is actually the primary number one key to changing these relationship patterns so that you can actually create and attract healthier and loving and great relationships in your life. You don't have to live the rest of your life like that, in this pattern of abuse and this pattern of toxicity, whatever it is, right? So self-awareness, when you understand the program, you can change the program. And when you change the program, you change the input, you change the output that's displayed on this screen of life that you see every single day. And so here's the reality of that. A lot of people say that life is a mirror. It's going to show you back, what it's going to show you to yourself, essentially. I say it's more like a hologram, because it is you have these programs and you're creating your experiences through these programs within yourself, and they are just displaying themselves in front of you and creating the like experience with the thought and feeling pattern that you are projecting and putting out into the world. So if you're seeing something in your life, there is something in you that aligns with that something in your life. Or it may just be a boundary that you have yet to set. Because life will continue to bring us things that we may deem as negative, that we may not like. It'll continue to bring them to us until we take a stand and decide, either one, this is not me, I'm worthy of more, I'm worthy of better. Or two, it just gets so bad to the point that we don't even have a choice anymore, and life is just forcing us to address the bullshit in our life and to get away from it or to change it. because if you don't make that decision, it's going to get worse and worse and worse. That's how it happens with, these negative things in your life, with this abuse or unhealthiness in your relationships. And so from this point, you have a decision to make. This is a very, very, very important decision for you to make. And it's important what you decide. You can decide to look at your life and look at the experiences that you are having in your life. You can look at this unhealthy relationship that you have in your life and determine from what you are observing that I am worthy of this treatment. I'm not good enough to be in a loving, healthy relationship, or whatever other justifications you might have for justifying why you deserve to continue to exist in this negative experience in your life. Or option 2, you can look at the hologram as it actually is and recognize that it is your imagination and it is your programming, your thought and feeling that is creating this projection of this image or of this experience in your life. You're creating what you see on the hologram. And when you make this decision, when you recognize this, you'll realize that you are actually 100% perfectly worthy and lovable and capable. And there is actually nothing wrong with you. That you are completely whole and you always have been whole. You're just in a process of clarifying and identifying who you actually are. And so if you take this route and instead of observing what's in front of you and making a conclusion to justify that, you observe what's in front of you and recognize that that's not really you. That's not really what you deserve. That you are the eternal spirit yourself, who you actually are, is far beyond anything in this world that you could identify with. It's the I am. Just the fact that you are, like you're the observer of all of this and the creator of your experience. You are. Now, all these labels are the things that the ego wants to attach to and identify with, because the ego is lost as to who the hell you are. It doesn't know. It does not know what it's doing. It's creating this whole illusion in your life and creating this whole identity based on what it sees in your life. And so therefore, it's only perpetuating it. It's only continuing it and prolonging it and making it worse. But when you take this decision number 2 and you decide to look at your reality as a creation of your consciousness, a manifestation of your consciousness, regardless of whether it's your fault or not, maybe it is something that you contributed to, but maybe it's just something you adopted growing up. Maybe it's just the programming that you took on. Right? So you don't need to feel any guilt about this. You don't need to, I'm not like blaming the victim. That's not what this is, because you're not a victim. You've never been a victim. The ego wants to say, yes, I am. I'm a victim. Look at all this negative treatment. I shouldn't, be getting this. But then you continue to go back to it, right? Because the ego is insane. But you're not a victim. You never have been. You're in a process of clarifying, understanding, and remembering who you are. And sometimes you need to experience the shit end of the stick to remember that that's not actually you. And when you experience that and you remember that that's not actually you, it gives you an insight into something greater, something deeper that could potentially be you. And eventually it will lead you back to your true self, back to your spiritual nature, back to who you really are. And that is the conscious creator of your reality. The 100% whole, lovable, perfect being that you are. Obviously, you're perfectly imperfect, but you are perfect. You're perfectly imperfect. You're perfect, right? And so when you come to this place, when you truly begin to heal the way that you see yourself, because you've been whole all along. You've always been whole. There's nothing to heal about you, about your true self. There's only healing your vision, what you see when you look at yourself, what you see when you look at this hologram. Do you see, I fucking suck? Or do you see, oh, I can do better. This isn't me. I don't want to choose to identify with this any longer, because it is a choice. It is a choice. And you have to make that choice that you don't want to continue to identify with this reality, with just the projection that you see in front of you. You don't need to identify with that anymore. It's not you. And through experiencing these things that are painful, sometimes you have to experience the pain to recognize who you actually are. So that's what all this is about. I hope this was helpful for you. I hope this gave you some insight into your experience. Maybe if you are in an unhealthy relationship, or if you know people who are, or, if you know people who are, send them this video. This may help, and I don't know, it depends on the context of the situation. Unsolicited advice is not great sometimes, but if it's something you guys have talked about, send them this video. And just with anything else in your life as well. Like if you're in a situation where money has always been a struggle for you, there's a fucking reason for that. There's a reason that it continues to be so. You are continually imagining and creating it into your reality. And so until you change the thoughts and the consciousness that is creating that, the experience isn't going to change. And what your mind will try to do is just justify it. Oh, well, having money is harder. It brings on more problems in your life. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, I don't know if my family will like me anymore once I get rich. I don't know if, I might lose my connection with my friends once I make a lot of money. All these justifications. Fuck that. Fuck that shit. It's not who you actually are. You are abundant. You are infinite. You are a consciousness of infinite possibility. You get to choose. And so choose wisely, choose intentionally. Don't just settle for the programs that you've been given. It's not your fault. It's your responsibility to go out and make change happen. And it starts within. I say go out and make change happen, but it starts within, 100%. It cannot happen anywhere other than internally. So let me know down below. Drop a comment, share your thoughts, questions, insights, anything that you took away from this. And if you have any recommendations or anything that you would like me to speak on in my next episode, please drop that down below as well. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Stay tuned in and check out my other content for more on how to actually heal these things and how to navigate all of this. All right. Thank you. You're only one decision away. This is the decision. Make the fucking decision. All right. Peace.